What's up, Moto Buddies? Mike here from Taco Moto Co. What is the Taco Touch? It's the best service in the industry. Virtually 24/7 tech support via email or text, and it's like having a dirt bike doctor on call every day of the year, helping you fix your bike or recommend parts or setups for you. If you've ever received an order from us, you'll know that the Taco Touch extends to our fulfillment, and our orders come with the coolest stickers that you've ever had, buying parts from anybody before, and a handful of root beer barrel candies. All of our Taco Moto Co. branded components come with a no questions asked lifetime warranty, and we'll even extend out the warranty of other manufacturers, OEM, and aftermarket parts where we can, sometimes for life. We test and tune endlessly and exhaustively and obsessively. We're trying to destroy everything that we can before you get your hands on it to look for weaknesses and to improve it, or to make recommendations to the manufacturer. And if it's something that doesn't meet grade, then we don't offer it on the store. Everything that we carry is something that we have personally used, tested, and ridden, and raced, and knows meets the high Taco Touch demanding standard. Go out and get some adventure.
In episode 75 of Tech Talk Taco Tuesday. Wow, they really made 75 of these, huh? Wow. Jimmy Lewis and co-host Logan Tyler talk about many topics such as when your mousse is too soft, why there's a part shortage in the USA, the difference between a fatty tire and a normal tire. You get some more free riding tips. You also get to hear a discussion about the KTM 500 versus the Husqvarna 501, as well as some clutch weights. And apparently there's some guests in studio that get abducted by aliens? I don't know, I'm just reading off the show notes. You have to listen to find out exactly what happens.
It's 7 o'clock-ish. We are live in Pahrump, which is the Valley of the Dirt People. We have a lot of dirt people joining us, so I don't really know. I can't see them because they're behind one of my monitors. And here's the other big thing I forgot to do. Check this out. Where is that record? There we go. That could be a problem, because if we have a problem over there, then we have a problem over here. So we're live from Pahrump, Valley of the Dirt People, for Tech Talk Taco Tuesday. This is episode number 75. This is the podcast where we talk about what, Logan? Right, and I don't have your mic on, do I? Now I do. So one more time.
Motorcycles and motorcycle-related products.
Yep, one of these days we're going to do this, and it's going to be just seamless.
Yep.
It'll be really strange. I'll probably fall asleep. So we have a few new guests that drop by, courtesy of Al. Where's Al? Wasn't he supposed to chaperone you over here? No? And we're going to go through the names again. It was Corbin, Caleb, and Ashton. So have you watched Tech Talk Taco Tuesday or listened to it before? Yeah, you have? So do you have some motorcycle questions that you would like answered? Not really. You just want to see what kind of a shit show we have at this operation. Well, here's, just to start off, this is a Tacosaurus, by the way. So we talk about the important things. This is the product of the week. It's because this is Tech Talk Taco Tuesday. It won't have any tacos. It'll say there was free food. That's why you guys showed up. So this is a Tacosaurus. If we had tacos, we could put it on there. My wife's partner from Rebel Rally, I think her kids got this for me because they knew I did something called Tech Talk. So now we've learned something. The rest of the show can just go to wherever at this point. So Logan, we have some sponsors. And I think, you know what I'm going to promise you? If you can read this thing perfectly, you won't have to do it ever again.
Oh.
Yeah, here you go.
So.
Well, who are we talking about?
KTM.
Right.
They're powered by a distinct ready-to-race mentality. KTM is the world's leading high-performance street and off-road motorcycle manufacturer with North American headquarters based in Murrieta, California. Over the years, KTM has built a reputation as a fierce competitor on the racetracks around the world, and which is shown in every product it develops and every move it makes.
Oh, so close. So close. Looks like you're going to have to read it again. I was gonna call up our contact. I was going to call up Nikki down there and say, hey, I need a new read because Logan memorized this one. It's time to do another one. So if you want to ride the best motorcycles in the world, according to us, well, we just say this all the time. Any of you guys ride KTMs? No. Nuh-uh. Yeah, you should. We had somebody in here that was really high on Yamahas last time. How was Trevor? He was looking for the Blue Crew, right? Okay. So we're also brought to you by Climb. Climb is the makers of awesome gear. And exactly this morning when I woke up, I decided it was not vented gear season anymore because we went from like 95 yesterday, where vented gear was the most awesome thing ever, to me clawing through my gear bag, knowing that all I had in it was vented stuff when it was like 65. It was way colder, but it was going to high of 65 when we were riding today. And so yeah, Climb's vented gear is awesome, but now it's out of season. But I'm sure it's going to get to be 105 next week or something again. Who knows? Then I'll pull it back out. And Recluse, they make clutches for old people, right, Logan?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, actually, they make clutches for Jimmy because allegedly I have a broken finger on my clutch finger right now. I haven't had it x-rayed or anything, but I tried to break my front fork with my finger by poking at it, and it didn't work. Of course, this was during a tip-over incident where the motorcycle and I came apart, and my finger doesn't work very well. So I'm glad I had a Recluse clutch, and that way it makes it easy for me to ride without having to touch the clutch. And then I go up a whole skill level. So if you guys have questions in the chat room, of course, if you are familiar with the show, you know that we are live on Facebook every Tuesday night. You can join the chat room. You can get your questions answered instantly. I guess you can just show up at my place, according to Al. I'll send you in. Don't feel intimidated. I jack with people all the time. And then you can have your motorcycle questions related. So what kind of bikes do you guys ride?
I ride a Honda.
A Honda?
I ride
250. What kind? There's CRF. What year?
11.
11. CRF 250 R, X? R. Okay. Next.
I ride a Suzuki.
Suzuki.
450 and a little 82 stroke.
Okay, so 450, which one would that be? The RMZ?
Yeah, I think so.
Yep. So you're not super into dirt bikes.
No, not
Yeah.
completely.
Right, I can tell. Yeah, that's what I do. And then you?
I ride a 2019 KX250.
2019 KX250. So we've got a Suzuki, a Kawasaki, and a Honda. Yeah, we're well represented here because you have Yamahas
Yeah.
and a KTM.
Yep.
And I have everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I have Husaberg. Do you guys know what a Husaberg is?
No.
Really? And you listen to the show?
Yeah.
Are you watching? You know what it is? Yeah. It's an old bike. 7 minutes this time. So we'll learn something. Hey, so I'm going to go right into the chat room to see where our questions are at because these guys are here. Mark Daniels is here. We have a lot of our thing. Diane is really upset because she couldn't hear you nodding your head. Well, he doesn't make that much noise when he's nodding his head, but it's probably because I didn't turn his microphone on. Dallas Steelbald, he says, "What's up, boys and girls?" Where's the girls? Yeah. Hey, yeah, Logan just tells him to quit texting him and at that time. Dean Voyer, I am not coming to Idaho. No, I was in Idaho for less than 24 hours. And Wayne says 75. Nice. Yeah, it's been a long road. You'd think we'd be better at doing this by now. That's what I think all the time. Rodrigo Lopes says, Jimmy, thanks for influencing my decision to go back to KTM. There we go. See? I got the 2020 KTM 300 XCW TPI and could not, and then it just stops.
Yeah.
That's it could not get it started. You could not thank me enough.
Not finish it.
Yeah, you cannot finish your typing. It's okay, Rodrigo. I'm sure it'll pop up later. You probably have an internet connection like we do, and it's a little spotty at times. But yeah, no, glad you got one. I wish I had one. I wish I had one of those right now. And Todd Kelly, Todd, I think. Oh, he was the guy I was mean to because he just wanted to write. That's the guy. So I got to get into his question here. See, it's Todd Kelly. I installed. I'll get it. A high output stator on my WR450F that converts it over to DC only with a new regulator rectifier. Checked and rechecked my work. Bike will not start with the e-start, but will kick over. New anti-gravity battery fully charged. However, I see the voltage drop below 12 volts after about 5 seconds of cranking. I found one post saying that because the rec fires the ignition off the DC, it won't start below 12 volts no matter what. Any thoughts on this question, or is it overload like most of my questions? Oh, man, I am not an electrical engineer, or I don't even play one on this podcast. And once you start messing with the electric system, you are, I'll tell you what, I have an XR650 in the garage that I would ride a lot, except I can't get the lights to work on it. And it used to have an electric starter on it, and it's such a mess. And there's those ignitions that convert the power so it all goes to DC, and then everything runs off the battery. But generally speaking, your battery charging side of your ignition and stator is separate from the side that sparks the ignition, runs the timing, and all that. So, boy, I don't know. And Bob's raising his hand out in the peanut gallery. Hold on, I'm going to try something here, Bob. Go ahead and ask your question.
Well, it's the stator puts out AC, and the regulator converts it to DC that runs that charges the high tension coil.
Right.
And all that. So if he's not running DC, he's got to run the DC to run the engine, and then the lights can be AC and all the rest of that stuff. But he needs to convert it to DC.
Well, I'm sure it was a kit that was supposed to have everything done.
I wonder if he's got
that converts it to DC only with a new rectifier. Checked and rechecked my work, but the bike will not start with the e-start, but it will kick over and start. So I think what he's asking is when he is pushing the button, it draws it down below 12 volts, and that's causing it not to spark.
it should be
Or
should be
9 or 10.
yeah, and so that's kind of it's usually about 9 or 10 is where I've noticed it. So that being said, it's hard to diagnose electrical problems over the phone or the internet. Yeah, I don't. If it kicks, I wonder. I don't know. I mean, what year WR450F? Because Yamaha's, and we're joking about this because they don't start the best. They're not the best at starting, and whether it's a 250 or 450, any of the electric start bikes. I mean, sometimes they're just fine, but they're finicky. Let's put it that way. So I can't answer. I failed. I should just stop the show right now. And but yeah, Todd. What? So who? If it's Baja Designs if it's a Baja Designs kit, they have great tech support. I know this because I have electrical problems all the time, and when I do have an electrical problem, that's who I call. And basically, like with my XR650, they say, "Why don't you just replace everything?" Because the reg it had a big ignition, run big lights, and it has this goofy electric start kit on it, and it's a big problem. Now my thing froze up, so you keep paying attention. Let's see. Taco Mike rode his 82 Gold Wing with us 2 weeks ago in Montana. Performed quite well. Well, why would you do that? Rusty Nail is in the house. Let's see. The DB shirt looks great. Yeah. Mason says, tell him to call Moto-minded Chris Vestal. He answers all these questions all day long. I'm sure that's what Chris Vestal wants to do, is to answer electrical questions, even though he already does it all day long. Yeah, a lot of electrical questions. So I don't know why this thing froze up, but we'll keep rolling. So what's our first question over there?
Lyle?
Oh, is it a good name?
Yeah.
What is it?
Lyle Rustata.
Rostadit. That's
The
what I
only
think.
thing that would keep me off any KTM is part prices. That could be a deal breaker for if you plan to long-term ownership. Great review. I know Mr. Lewis sure knows his stuff.
Lyle, so here's an interesting thing, when you're thinking, and a lot of times when people are making decisions, he's talking about the KTM 390 video that he watched. And so somebody's going to say, I'm going to own a bike for a long time and I'm worried about parts prices, like changing my decision to buy this brand or that brand or the other brand. And over all the years I've been doing this, all the different brands, it's almost like, and I'm only guessing here, but it's almost like there's certain things that each brand will price higher and other things lower. It's almost like at a supermarket where they have these loss leader things that are kind of inexpensive, and then they have other things that if you're going to buy the piston, they know you're going to buy the pin, and or you're going to need a gasket set. So they think, okay, well, you're going to do a top end, or you're going to buy whatever pieces, and if you're going to do a clutch, well, if you're going to do the fibers, you're probably going to get the metals, and they'll somehow make some of them kind of cheap, and then other ones more expensive. And we used to, at the magazine, sometimes we look at parts prices of high wear items, clutches, pistons, not so much aftermarket stuff that was easy to get. So, and now even with most of the high wear stuff, and we'll get in, there's another good question that we're going to get today about some of this stuff. You can almost rebuild your whole bike with aftermarket. I mean, plastics for most bikes, top end kits, clutches, there's gasket kits, tires, wheels, chains, sprockets. So if you're worried about what KTM priced it at, if it's a high price, if it's overly high for the market, there will be an aftermarket company that will come in and make that part for substantially less. It's just kind of a known thing. And I've actually been surprised at some pretty interesting stuff that you can get aftermarket. And some people just want to replace their parts with only OEM, and maybe at that point you feel like that's the only way to do it, and you want to pay for the higher price stuff, but it makes some people feel better. They know it's going to be an exact fit, and you hear lots of stuff about, the stuff that's aftermarket is like seconds. When they're producing the stuff for the factory, if it doesn't meet spec, they throw it in another box and it comes out as another brand. And I've heard that before, and I've measured stuff from the brand that was supposedly getting the second stuff, and it was exactly the same. And so I would not let, and then you got to ask yourself, what are you going to wear out, especially on a KTM 390? What are you going to wear out on that bike? It'd be hard. You'd have to really work at it to wear the clutch out. You'd have to, kind of do it on purpose, unless you're just a clutch wear outer person. That comes back to the person. I don't think you're going to wear a top end out on that bike. I think it's designed pretty low stress. It's going to last a long time. And is it like plastics? Is it like tip over and crash stuff? Usually that stuff's, maybe stop tipping over and crashing. It started to sound like I run a riding school and I'm trying to sell you on becoming a better rider, right? Not again. Yeah. Man, you want to know what Husaberg prices? Yeah, Husaberg prices are expensive. They're getting there because they're 10 years out now. Yeah, then they get pretty premium. So okay. Don't let that be a deciding factor on ownership. And I don't know that any one brand has less expensive parts prices than another brand. It all kind of comes out in the wash. There might be more stuff available for certain brands. The more popular brand, more aftermarket stuff there's going to be. And next question, Logan.
Alexei Magan, no.
Oh yeah.
First, the track is madness.
Did you? That's what you're doing. You're taking a picture of that and translating it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I screwed with Logan here. This is written in. I'm pretty sure it's Greek. Is it Greek?
I don't know.
What hieroglyphics is that? It's not. I'm pretty sure it's like Greek.
I'll hold it up. I can't see it.
Yeah, well, nobody can see it because this is it's supposed to be a podcast, but evidently it's not. It's like a video production. So I'll hold it up in front of the maybe you'll see it on the screen here. So go ahead. What's the question?
Oh,
Yeah, I was just playing a joke with Logan there, and I put this in.
I lost it.
You lost it.
I was trying to fix the.
Oh, yeah, I lost my feed here. Well, do you want to take another picture and get to that question later?
No, I just got it.
Okay.
The track is just madness. No room for error. 75 to 80%. Breakage for the pilot. 0. Pleasure. 1 extreme with adrenaline for survival.
Now you see why we don't use translators.
Also, he was the email in Greek.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, well, he just commented on one of our videos. And something, so, yeah, I don't really understand what he was, is it the question or comment or concern?
Comment.
Comment. Got it. Travis Redfield says, great review. I am curious if you have found more differences in the handling of the Husky versus the KTM. I own a 20 Husky 501 and have ride buddies with 20 KTM 500s, and I ride them back to back. I find the KTM feels more nimble, maybe the Husky more stable. A difference I have noted that does not get mentioned much is that the wheelbase has increased on the Husky. I think this may be a result of work they did to lower the rear suspension without reducing travel. I bought a Husky because it is lower and I am shorter, but now think it actually feels a little bigger due to the longer wheelbase. I don't really hear anyone talk about this aspect. Curious if you guys have noticed the difference in size of the bikes. So, yeah, actually, I think we talked about this a little bit when we were testing both the KTM. We had both of those bikes here, and there's definitely a different feel between the two of them. Probably more to somebody that really feels higher level guy. It's probably more than you would think. And I've had some people hop on the bikes back and forth, and if they didn't look different, they wouldn't know they were any different. And we're talking about one with a linkage suspension and one with a PDS, and one with a composite rear subframe and one with an aluminum rear subframe. There's a lot of differences between the bike, little things. What I noticed personally between the bikes, the biggest difference is the clutch, because one's Magura and one's Brembo. That's the first thing that I notice between the two. And then I also feel that the Husky has a slightly softer power delivery. I always like to say the Husky to me feels a little bit less aggressive, and he's sort of describing that same sort of feel with it. Maybe he's attributing it to a longer wheelbase, which I don't know. We'd have to start looking at the spec sheet. It really, yeah. And so it has a different swing arm and stuff because it has a linkage, and I suspect that would half-inch longer wheelbase is a big deal. That makes a big difference. Not to say that you probably couldn't, if you wanted to get your Husky to handle a little more agile, kind of shorten your chain and tighten that up. Get that wheel a little bit closer. You can change triple clamps. Would also affect the same thing. But I mean, the Husky. It's funny because sometimes it feels heavier and sometimes it feels lighter, and I don't know how to kind of explain that because it's not like a huge difference, but it sort of depends on what speed you were going. There's like the KTM I thought was better going really slow or really fast, and I thought the Husky was better like in almost all the middle kind of the mid speeds. And where do I ride? Either really slow or really fast. So which one do I like? I end up liking the KTM. I mean, if I have to get picky, but they're both great bikes. I'm trying to think if there was a good way. Yeah. And if you're, he's talking about lowering the suspension, or he liked it for the lower suspension. And typically when you lower the suspension, it kind of kicks the rake out. What do we have going on out there? Sounds like somebody's pulling up in something. Yeah. When you kind of like lower the suspension, drop the suspension down. It kind of kicks out the fork a little bit and kind of slows down the handling as well. So you could also try running a little bit more spring preload to, lift the back of the bike up a little bit. And that could, speed up the handling. But, you don't want to go too far to where the bike starts becoming unstable. So I think I answered his question.
I don't know.
You don't know?
I was pretty focused on the Google Translate, and it was in Russian.
That's Russian?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I guess it could be. I don't know. I didn't take Russian in high school. And then what is Mike Mead like? What would Mike Mead like to know?
Need a top-end kit for 2018 Husqvarna FX 450. Where could I find one in the USA?
So he is experiencing a part shortage, like we all are. So there's a lot of parts, like aftermarket, rebuild, stock parts. I know that right now there's a lot of racers that are trying to get things like top end kits and piston kits, and even Trevor. We went with a slightly higher compression piston. On his KTM 250 because the standard compression piston was not available. So we're kind of starting to feel the lag of all the production that stopped because of COVID and all that stuff. It's starting to hit home here. So does he think that I have one in my garage that I could just ship it out? I don't know. Yeah, Bob.
It's always been referred to as KIBO, KIBO, KTM Intergalactic Backorder.
KTM Intergalactic Backorder. What's that mean?
Back in the old days when you couldn't get parts, and it was always called KIBO.
No, I don't remember that. I never had problems getting KTM parts. Maybe back when you never rode KTMs.
No.
Back in the old days.
No, when I was buying KTMs, you couldn't get parts for them.
How old were you? Because it was way before my time.
No, it was after that.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Oh, there was a time when you couldn't get 250 cylinders because Danny Hamill used every one in the country.
No, this was after that. It was just the big joke was KIBO, KTM Intergalactic.
Yeah. Maybe when they were going through that the bankruptcy back in the early 90s, it would that could have like things like that affect a company. But yeah, there's a production supply. There's going to be like a 2-month gap, and Europe was shut down solid for 2 to 3 months. So nothing got produced, and the stuff that was produced was shipped out because people wanted it right out, especially here. Like we've sucked up everything power sports. The United States has sucked it up, and it's been out and consumed, and now they're trying to make more, and they're still 2 months behind. So yeah, I've heard that is a little bit of a problem. I don't know where you can get it, but what's funny is I was floating through the Facebooks, and I saw Mike Mead had posted I saw a picture of a very lean looking cylinder and top of a piston and head. It was pictures. Very clean. Is there a reason why there's a really loud truck idling?
Yeah, I'm gonna go grab his dad.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know if you can hear it in the background, but it's loud. Even in my headset. Is it loud? Yeah, because it's coming right in the garage door. So the when you, yeah, it's so. Anyways, I saw this very, and by lean I mean probably stock looking, the way that the stock bikes run. But then I saw that it only had like 80 hours or something on it, and he had taken it apart. And so my first question was why? Oh, good grief. So, anyhow, like I said, it looks brand new. I have a KTM 500 that has, it's funny because it's your old bike. It's starting to use a lot of oil. That's when I was rally training on this week when I was riding.
The one I just.
No. The old one.
13.
Yeah, the 13. It has over 500 hours on, and it just started really using a lot of oil. And I'm like going, well, it still runs good. Do I take it apart? So if you haven't destroyed anything that's like, just slide that sucker back together at 80 hours. I wouldn't touch a KTM 500 or Husky 450 or whichever one it is for for a regular guy, man, even I was actually talking to Andrew Short about his Yamaha 450, his factory rally bike, and I'm like, you can probably get 100 hours out of that thing, at the level that they push that thing, because I would think easy, for training and stuff like that, and so yeah. Okay, what's our next question? We got now we have a revolving door in and out. We got a thanks, Al. I'm not sure. We're in entertainment here. We're local entertainment. We had a loud truck literally idling out in the front. I mean, a really loud truck, which is kind of normal here on Pahrump. I think that's a normal thing. Yeah. So no muffler diesel truck idling out front.
Mike Shirley, monkey butt hot tip.
Mike Shirley is the expert on monkey butts.
Instead of powder, use an anti-friction gel such as Rocket Pure Natural Friction Therapy. A coating on my private man parts works well.
Okay. I've been mean to Mike lately. Mike was actually out rally training with us too. And he was doing good, and then just looking for some he got lost a couple times. We all do, and he was looking for some sympathy, and I just kept rubbing it in. So my monkey butt therapy. What's your monkey butt therapy, Logan?
I don't know.
You don't get monkey butt.
I don't think so.
You don't think so? You know what monkey butt is?
Not really.
So sometimes you have to break it down and explain this stuff for people. So have you ever been to the zoo? Gone to the zoo before?
Yeah.
See those baboons?
Yeah.
And they have those big old chunky cheeks in the back. They're all pink. And
Yeah.
Yep, that's monkey butt. So some people, when they sit down on the seat too much, that's what they get. They get monkey butt. And there's actually there's powders, there's actually something called monkey butt powder. And I guess we were talking about it on the show last time. And my solution to monkey butt is stand up. But Mike says to rub some therapy, what's that stuff called again?
Rocket Pure Natural Friction Therapy.
Rocket Pure Natural Friction Therapy. Okay. So hopefully when we have less listeners with monkey butt after next week. Let us know how it works. I know it works for Mike. I didn't see him complaining about monkey butt at all. So it was all good. Okay. Why aren't you guys putting episodes on Spotify anymore? Says Bryce Reeder. I love listening to you at work. Bryce, it's because I am lazy. No, I don't. There's not enough hours in the day. Yes, because Logan didn't. Blame Logan. Logan didn't do it.
Yep.
Okay, that's easy. Yeah, one word answer. He didn't even make an excuse. I like that. So let's see. Bryce also asks, what chain do you recommend for desert single track riding Reno high desert? Any chain. A good one? A new one? What? We don't know? Yeah.
I'll tell you.
Yeah, I got it. So chains. I've had good luck with the majority of the chains, name brand chains that I've run, especially, when you start talking about like the DID, the RK. I used to run Tsubaki chains back in the day. I don't think they're really that popular, especially in the off-road market any longer. I have also been running Regina chains for the last 5 or 6 years on a lot of my rental bikes and personal bikes and stuff. I managed to buy, they changed their packaging and they started calling it something slightly different. Chain stayed the same, but they changed their packaging. They had a lot of the old, so I got a really good deal on some old ones. I've had really, really good luck with it. So I think and I know there's been a big push in the aftermarket for some of these brands like Tusk and Western Power Sports to have some of their own in-house brands, and they are trying to make them of higher quality than some of the brands that used to be the really cheap, inexpensive ones back in the day, because they were like sometimes buying a stock chain on a 125 motocross bike. They were just junk. It would wear out pretty quick. And you could buy a cheap aftermarket one for half the price of the stock one, and it would wear out twice as quick. So a chain is one of those things you're going to get what you pay for the most part. And if you're good at, if you know how to check a chain, there's some companies that make these like rulers that are specifically sized for certain size chains that you can clip on them and measure to see how it's stretched out it is. There's ways that you can check, because really the side to side play, so when you take the chain and, it's usually pulling in a straight line, but you try to bend it out of that straight line and how far it goes. So if you notice that your chain is knocking the knobbies off the side of your tire, that's bad. Or if it's, or if it's rubbing on your subframe, it's like starting to saw your subframe. That's bad. But at the moment, if we had a chain sponsor, right now I would tell you that to buy that chain. I mean, just straight up. But I would say the exact same thing I just said before or after I told you just to buy whatever brand X chain that they help keep this show afloat. What kind of chain do you run, Logan?
Not sure.
Not sure. Does it work good?
Yeah.
Logan recommends the Not Sure chain. He says it works fine on his KTM or Yamahas. And next question.
Into the Void. He forgot in the credits to mention his Scott's steering dampener.
Oh, he's talking about my Tour of Idaho video. It didn't say Scott's, I guess. Didn't you watch that to do prep for the show? You didn't watch the Tour of Idaho video? No. How am I going to get to you? The Scott steering stabilizer. I probably should have said something nice about it. I usually say good things about him, don't I?
Yeah.
Every time I talk about him? Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. I probably should have put that there, but they didn't sponsor that video either, so I won't talk about him. No, I've never met a bike that didn't like a Scott steering stabilizer on it. I can probably go on and on about why and how and all that stuff, but we'll save that for another one.
Charlie Tuna. Clutch weights. Do they offer real world benefits, or are they just snake oil? Pros and cons. Thanks.
So this is stemming from, I think I commented on somebody else's YouTube video I know what I did. Yeah, I think Trevor and I talked about it on some sort of a project bike. The YouTuber put it on there, and then somebody asked about it specifically, and there wasn't an answer. So I posted the dirt bike test of a Blaze Racing, like 8-ounce clutch weight that we tested on a few different bikes. And no, it's not snake oil. Yes, they do something. To the point, there was a time when to lighten bikes up and to give them different kinds of throttle response feel, manufacturers were going with putting a lot of aluminum plates in the clutch, which would contaminate the oil pretty fast and they would wear quicker. And I remember in the early days, we would actually replace them, as I was desert racing, we would replace them with steel plates to actually get a little bit more inertia spinning around in the motor, and it just gave it more torque. So kind of like, so imagine when you put a flywheel weight on, it does something similar, but since it's spinning a lot slower, it's not as doesn't have as much effect. Especially on, I noticed it the flywheel weights really hurt. They can really hurt the pickup at real low RPM just as much as they help the stalling resistance at really low RPM. Where when you start adding weights to the clutch, it's kind of more in like, it starts coming in from like upper bottom end into the mid range, and then it has a little bit more of effect on like kind of top end without making the bike feel as heavy. That's my experience with it, and it's different bike to bike, whether it's a 2-stroke you put it on or a 4-stroke. They seem to be more popular on the 2-strokes, like the KTMs and Huskies seem to be popular back when I don't know if they can do it with the diaphragm spring. I haven't checked, but pre-diaphragm spring is, I think, when we tested it. Yes.
the centrifugal force goes up squared to the speed, so that it has less flywheel effect on the clutch, which may be a benefit if it was on the crank.
Centrifugal force goes up x squared
To the speed.
to the speed.
RPM.
Yeah. Okay. That sounds like something that we would have to have a physicist in here to explain. But I know I'm not doubting your formulas. It's science. This is Bob with science.
But so that on the clutch, it could have a greater benefit, especially if you're trying to turn, because there's less flywheel effect because it's turning slower.
Right.
And still gives you a benefit of more.
It's different. And like I said, it's different on every bike depending on how fast your clutch is spinning. And there's other things like Hinson used to make steel clutch baskets. So a lot of people thought that they were for less wear because KTM's come with a steel clutch basket. And most Japanese bikes come with an aluminum clutch basket that's riveted onto a big steel gear. And so sometimes they make that gear really light. On some bikes, they make them heavier. But Hinson had a complete, steel clutch basket that I really liked it on Honda 450Xs. It was a really good modification. In fact, I remember doing some stuff with a company called Adige, who I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. They were making a lot of the KTM clutch components back in the day, and they had a really good clutch for the Honda. And I think if there's something that was sort of weak on the Honda, I should try that on the new 450X. To come to think of it, if I can get if they make those parts anymore, because it made it really good. But they were surprised when they saw that I had this steel clutch basket, and they're like, "Why do you have that?" And I'm like, "Oh, it gives it a little bit better, better feel, throttle response, a little bit more, just a better transition into the mid range, and kind of smooth the bike out." And they were like, "Yeah, interesting." I don't know if because they knew that that's what KTM's had in there, and they're like, "Oh, people are putting these in Honda." So yeah, any place you put weight in different places, crank or flywheel or in your tires. We were talking about tire weights of tires the other day and weights of mooses and what different riders at different levels feel. It's kind of interesting, but yeah, weight is a interesting phenomenon. Mike Deering says, I just picked up a 2021 KTM EXCF partially because of your review of the 20. Great bike, by the way. It is exactly what I was hoping it would be and perfect for this 52-year-old Pacific Northwest dirt bike riding lifer. Well, thanks, Mike. Partially. I would like to, next time I want full credit, please. I mean, thanks for the partial credit, but we'll do the half credit next time. What's my next question over there, Logan?
Less death.
Less death?
Less death.
I like less death.
Chin mount with image stabilizer is easier the best location.
That's less death 69. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Got to get the full name in there. I mean, it could be less death 52 and then like that guy doesn't get his credit. So we were talking about our GoPro, best place to mount a GoPro last week, and chin mount with image stabilization. Yeah. I think that's pretty good. Yeah, because it's essentially, I just don't like things in front of in my field of view, and putting something there tends to bother me. But I'm a chest mount guy. So you can look at the bike. I'm all about the bike. Okay, what does Jeff want to know? Jeff?
Merlet.
Love
your shows / podcasts.
See? It's a show and a podcast. I'm going to get him up there. I have to.
But would be great if you could also continue to publish them on Apple iTunes. Your last podcast published on iTunes / podcasts is the YZ450F test from August 7th.
Yeah, so we got that account reestablished. So they will start going up. But the thing is, we haven't. A lot of the episodes, like literally from 50 forward, and from maybe it's 30 forward. I don't know. There's a long list of work for you, Logan. Long list. Yeah.
Jesse Whitehead. Husaberg 570 versus 701 Enduro.
No question. It's not like, why would you even ask that question? Like, come on. Actually, he picked like one of my favorites and one of my least favorites. Like, come on, Jesse. You're baiting the hook. This guy's trolling me. So
I share your love of the 70-degree bikes, but need more fuel range. I have a Safari front tank and severely reduced lock-to-lock tuning radius, and the 70-degree subframe tanks are unattainable, so I'm considering a Husky 701 long range as a replacement. Will I be disappointed with the added weight?
They're two completely different bikes, and the weight feel, yes, you will be probably severely disappointed. Is if there's one thing that Husaberg 570 does while you're riding it, is masks its weight. So if you like that thing, and I've seen those Safari tanks, and I know exactly what you're talking about. I have a KTM 500 for that when I need to go that long range. And it's hard to find tanks for the current ones, like the after the 16, so the 17. I don't think once you go to 2017, you can't get that 6.5 gallon tank anymore. And I guess there's just not enough of a demand for companies like a Chirby's or IMS to make the big capacity tanks that we use for some of our riding stuff. Safari seems to be the only company that's making that kind of stuff. But so I use my Husaberg. I never use my Husaberg as like a long range dual sport bike. So in that market, that new Husky, so it's called the 701 long range, and it has they finally put a big gas tank on it, which is what that bike really needed. And I actually reached out to Husky to see about getting one to test, because maybe that could change my mind a little bit, because I love the motor. And I know they've improved the suspension and the chassis and stuff and that, so it'd be interesting to see how that plays out, because one of my biggest gripes with that bike is the 701 and the KTM 690 was like, what is this bike for? What is it good for? Because it's kind of like it's supposed to be this one do-all thing, and it doesn't really have big enough. It gets great fuel economy, but it just doesn't have enough fuel range to go fuel capacity to go that far, And so they're addressing it with that particular model. So they're two completely different animals, and you're definitely going to go up in weight and weight feel, and the bike is just not going to be as good at if you're not looking at single track, you're probably going to be fine. Once you start going into single track, you're going to wish that it was a Husaberg, and then you just know, I don't care how many numbers they put on the side, it's not going to have as much power. You know how much power a Husaberg 570 makes compared to like most other bikes, Logan?
A lot.
Right.
Theali Bean.
Okay.
Anyone want to be my boyfriend?
You better slide in there.
Yeah. So, what else is on there? There's like some emojis and stuff there.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's like a heart and some lips.
Heart eyes, lips, heart present.
Happy cat.
Shining heart.
Wow.
Little black heart.
He knows what they're all called. So
white
you're an
heart.
expert at this. I didn't know what any of that stuff meant. So last week when we put our Tech Talk Taco Tuesday up, my phone at about 2:00 in the morning went bing, ding, ding, ding. It was like we were getting like lots of action. Yeah, lots of action on the YouTubes. Yeah. What's the next question?
Elisa Grace Powell.
I'm sure that's her name, but yeah.
Oh yeah. Do you love me?
What else?
Heart eyes, kissing, heart present,
See
Shining
that?
heart.
You know what that means, Logan? It means we've entered a whole new level on the YouTubes. Like, you're not allowed to even know about this level on the YouTube. Don't click on anything you see on those ones. I haven't reported it as spam because I haven't had a chance to get back to her yet. So, yeah, careful. Careful what you wish for. Cody Joseph says, do you run 2 rim locks when your mousse gets really soft? No, Cody, I put a new mousse in. And in fact, I run pretty much with mousses almost all the time. I only run 1 because I'm not really like racing. If I were racing, I think I might run 2 if I were like desert racing, high speed stuff. And I know a lot of the extreme enduro guys don't run any rim locks. And then I've heard of even some of the rally guys not running any rim locks. I should have looked at the bikes we were riding with today, see if they have rim locks. But usually they stuff a really big mousse into a really small tire and make it all stick that way. There was times when they used to have pins on the rims. So the rims used to have pins, but those also cut the tire, and they don't do that anymore. You could run the second rim lock to help. But it's still going to put a lot of strain on the bead of the tire, on the wire beads, because that's where it's pinching. And you think about you're locking that to the rim, and then the rest of the tire is sort of trying to twist itself off. So those wires right at that point are getting kind of flexed. And if you want to break a wire, you can just bend it and bend it and bend it and bend it and eventually pop. So speaking of that, Mike Shirley, the monkey butt guy, yeah, he. His tire, his mousse popped off of his rim while we were out training. He had to kind of cut that short, but it was really strange because it was a new mousse and it was all the sizing was right, and it popped off, and so I'd asked him. I said, "Hey, was there any chance like when you were mounting it that you popped the bead or broke the bead?" And he wasn't really 100% sure. So it's something to always be aware of. If you're really struggling with your mousse and you hear something when you're stretching that thing over and it goes pop, that tire is now. I'll use them for extreme enduros, like slow speed riding where I know it's not going to pop off because it takes the speed usually to do it in the mousse expanding. But here's another Jimmy trick because I hate to see a tire that looks like it has good knobs just like go to waste. So I will take that tire. Don't do this at home. Don't even do this but I did it maybe more than once. Because I know a lot of people that break the beads and the tires are useless for them, but for Jimmy, it's good. So I put that broken part of the bead underneath the rim lock and clamp it down. And so it clamps it down so it no longer flexes on that point. It's locking it underneath. And then I mark that wheel as a trail riding wheel, like slow speed trail riding, like extreme enduro wheel. If I put a mousse in there, a soft mousse, or I just know it's a thing. So don't let your kids do that. Don't have anybody ever do that. Just buy a new tire. So Cody, hopefully that helps. But so when a mousse gets really soft, I take it out and put a new one in, and then I take that mousse and I put it into a trail riding. I have like kind of desert, high speed rally / dual sport mousse, and then I have trail riding ones. Yes.
Ron Hartle. How do you? I watch live and comment live. I always get the Tuesday timing like 5 days late.
So you would be watching it on Facebook right now, and you'd have a better internet connection than I do right now, and you would type in your question, and then Logan would tell me, "Hey Jimmy, there's a question," or I would see it, and then I would answer it. So I think that's how you do it. Or just like you did there, you ask when you see this video when you're watching it 5 days from now, and it's old news, fake news too. Then you type in the question, and we generally pull it, and then I make Logan read it. So that's how you do that. Chris Real chimes in. Chris Real. Bob, do you have to drink every time I say his name wrong? Is that what you do?
No.
When you go home, you have to have
I
a.
just call you Jimmy Lewis.
Yeah. The clutch weighting is more effective when the weight is further out from the rotational center point. Same thing on the flywheel, but it is harder to do. So that's why those steel clutch baskets work pretty good too. And Danny Turner says, so you can feel much of a difference between light and heavy tubes in front tires. And oh yeah, yes. Again, rotational weight, farther out from the center. And we were talking about two different moose brands that there's a weight of 1 pound difference, and there's a lot of different. We're talking about all different kinds of things about how different mooses feel and how they act after they break in. But the one thing that everybody agreed on, because we disagreed on everything else we were talking about, but the one thing that everybody agreed on is we could all feel the heavier moose, and it's really good when everything's going good. Heavier is not better, but when something starts going wrong, weight all of a sudden becomes a big problem. So lighter is better because stuff's always going to go wrong. You have another question there, Logan?
In here?
Yeah.
Hey, Jimmy. Thanks for the Kinder Parker Desert DT tire suggestion. You gave in one of the Tech Talk Taco Tuesday episodes. I've burned up 4 of them. I am about to order another 2. They work well in the conditions I ride since they are predictable, give good traction under hard braking, and have a relatively long life.
Okay, so that's the first part.
Canada should sponsor Tech Talk Taco Tuesday.
Oh, I think everybody should sponsor it. But yeah, Canada should. They help me out with my school. They sponsor my school. They should sponsor this podcast, though, right? I should call them and talk to them about that. I'm going to. Okay, I'll put that on my list of things to do right after you upload all the episodes of the episodes to the pod, make it into a podcast.
Question. I've been running the Shinko 216 MX Fatty on the front with a heavy duty tube at 14 psi.
Okay, so that's horrible because heavy duty tube equals more weight. It's on the front wheel. Nobody likes it. No, just kidding. Going back on the other question. Yeah, okay, got it. Keep going.
I like the characteristics of the tire. Traction, predictability, bump compliance, and it tends to float in the sand. However, the side knobs keep tearing after a low number of miles. Do you have any recommendations? I ride mainly in Utah on Jeep roads, ATV trails, and trails that are so faint they can only be seen from a satellite. My bike is a 13 KTM 450 XCW, and I am ancient compared to Logan.
Okay, so that means he's probably 22, right? No, man, that was a good question. First, he complimented me. That's always a good thing. And then he said we should get sponsors. That's nice. And he's listening to me for advice, so he's going to take that to the bank. And then he asks a good question where he talks about what he uses, what I think, what would be the next thing. So you're reaching out to the internet for good advice, and I'm just another bald guy trying to help you out. But he talked about what he's using it on, what he's doing, and it gives me a good basis to answer this question. I think I've used that 216. I don't know if I've used the Cinco one. I can't. It might have been a while back when I was testing their gummy. They had some gummy rear tires. I think it's brain cells are firing up right now. And I didn't think it was because I think that's sort of a copy of the Golden tire, if I'm not mistaken. It's very, very similar. So the difference is, and this is with a lot of the smaller or the less expensive tires, is a lot of times they have one carcass, one shell, and they just put whatever pattern of knobbies on top of it with whatever rubber they deem possible. So, and when Golden came on, I didn't realize, I thought it was just another, because it was kind of an interesting name when I first heard it. And then I ran some of their tires. I'm like, wow, these are good. And they were, getting a lot of the extreme enduro guys to run them, not because they were paying them or giving them free tires, because they were good sticky tires. And that's the first time I ran. they sent me some for an adventure bike that they had. It was a fatty tire for the adventure, and I was blown away by how good they worked. And then I've tried all of their regular tires, and they're all pretty well performing. But the Syncos, I remember the sticky rears, and this is a long story, but I remember the sticky rears. One was really good, and one wasn't. And they were two different sizes, and it was the bigger one was good, and the smaller one wasn't. And the smaller one, the carcass they put it on was ridiculously stiff. And then they put this really soft rubber on it, and the tire, it just squirmed all over the place. And although if you stuck it on a rock, it kind of had the same, like if you actually did like a burnout on a rock or, on some really slick stuff, it would kind of have the same traction. But if you actually hit the rock and expected to stick, it would bounce and then it would squirm. Where the bigger tire, which was on a different carcass that was different, would actually stick and perform pretty good. And I'm pretty sure there's a test on Dirt Bike Test about those tires. They're gummy or sticky or whatever they call them. And I think I ran that front tire at the time, and I kind of know what you're talking about. But to me, if I remember correctly, the carcass wasn't a match. It was like the carcass was wrong. It was like they took a big carcass that might have been built for something a little bit heavier and then put knobs on it, and maybe that's why they're, peeling off to the side. But I think what you're liking about that tire is the float that a, quote, fatty tire gives in the sand especially. And I know like that red sand that you have out in Utah and stuff, that stuff can be ridiculously soft in a tire. So I don't know the durability on whatever tire, whatever that golden tire was, which is a fatty tire, was excellent. And I think they made a new one that's really popular with a lot of the guys that I ride with. Golden actually came out and gave tires to a lot of my helpers when I was promoting King of the Motos. And they had those tires, and everybody that got one, all my workers that got one, came back and said, man, this is the best tire. Like, and they're riding KTM 500s and Sierra 450Xs and stuff. And they said, this is the best front tire. And they're all guys that kind of like the fatty tire. For sure, it was a little bit heavier feeling and stuff, but the float they got in the washes. So that's a good tire that I can recommend. I know Michelin makes some 9100s, but they're not really that much bigger. Bridgestone used to make some. I think they still do, the wider tires. I don't run them all that often. I run the Kendas. I run the Kenda Parker DTs, and that's a really narrow front tire. And if you like that float of the fatty tire, you probably wouldn't like the Parker DT, although I think Kenda does also make some wider 9100 tires also. So, but the cool thing about tires is you're changing them all the time.
Yeah, you don't run them forever.
Yeah, they're not on forever. It's not going to permanently wreck it. And if you put it on in your very first ride, you don't like it, take it off, and you can sell it for half of what you paid for it, and you can get another one. Or you can make a buddy. Find a buddy that you don't like that much and give them the junky tire, and they'll come back and tell you, dude, that's the best tire I ever had. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, really? So, hey, tires are a personal preference, just like a lot of stuff. Do we have more?
Hi, Dirt Bike Test editorial team.
That's talking to you.
Yes.
What's her name?
This is Mary again.
Again, yeah.
Oh, this Mary.
Is she following you on Instagram?
No, she talked to you in like episode 35.
Okay. Okay, what's going on?
We have some clients looking to secure do follow sponsorship posts and paid guide post placements on dirtbiketest.com. If this is something you allow, could you please provide us the rate for the following for a regular Nache post with links back to client site?
Right. Okay. So you're in charge of this department, right? At Dirt Bike Test. That's you're in charge of this department.
Sure.
Handling Marie. It's called the Handling Marie department. So she's asked the question. So you're going to answer it. So do you I'm going to ask you the question. Secure do follow sponsored posts and paid guest posts. Do we allow them on Dirt Bike Test?
Don't think so.
You don't think so? Should we? Could you?
I don't know.
Let's open the door. Say yes.
Yes.
Okay. If this is something you allow, which you now do, could you provide the rates for the following for a regular niche post with links back to client sites. She wants to know, what is the price with the article provided by client for publishing? So that means I work for this, like, let's just say I run this off-road school called JimmyLewisOffroad.com, right? And I say, hey Logan, I'm going to write an article on how to pop wheelies, and I want you to put it on your site. What's it going to cost? And I'm going to load that thing up. So like you click on links, and like there's going to be a link to Kenda tires and a link to Ferrari batteries and a link, of course, like be like 5 links to my site. What's that going to cost me? Yeah, how much?
I don't know.
Well, you're in charge of this department. You better figure it out. I mean, this is how you make money, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what I want. How much is it going to cost me? Like I'll send it to you. You just put it up there. I'll even throw some cool. I'll make sure the photos are really cool too. Yeah. What does it cost me? This is economics.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll ask you question number 2. What's the price for an article written and published by you and your team? So, like, what are you going to charge me to write about my stuff?
$2 million.
$2 million? Okay, that's good. I'm liking that number. Price for an existing post link. So, in other words, they want to have us load some links on the back sides of some of our tests. This is the kind of stuff we get all the time, by the way. And people go, well, how come you say it doesn't make any money? It's because we're not taking any of this crap. Except Logan's in charge of this department, and everything may change because he needs to get some money for college so he can learn how to price this stuff out and come back and say, hey, Jimmy, we just made $2 million this month. And I'm like, how the hell did you do that? I just sit around and talk about dirt bikes and dirt bike related products, and this is where we're at. So, last part. Here's where you make the millions, Logan. Listen to this one. He said, a price aside from a niche or relevant regular post, please do you let us know if you accept iGaming, betting, lottery-related links as well? And if yes, is the same price. So who do you think Marie Moose works for? An offshore betting company.
Okay,
So yeah. Hey, if we ever put up links on the YouTube videos, click through those things. We also, on our tests, on dirt bike tests, actually the product tests and stuff, a lot of times down at the bottom there's a link to Amazon. And I hardly ever talk about this stuff because it would actually make me money if I did. But if you need to buy something on Amazon, go to Dirt Bike Test, or if you're just reading about whatever you're reading about there, about the clutch weight, and you go, that sounds pretty cool, I'd like to buy it. Generally down at the bottom you can click on, there's a click-through link on Amazon, and we get a small slice of that. I think a lot of people are doing that. But if you, when you're going to buy your next, big screen TV or set of car tires off at Amazon, maybe, an iPad or something, just click through the link on Dirt Bike Test, and we'll get a small chunk of that, and we can afford to be here next week because these lights aren't free, or we're gonna have to go to the betting sites. Yeah, you're in charge of that, Logan. I'm gonna forward. I need your email address so I can forward it to Marie, and I'll let you negotiate with her, and just copy me and all this stuff because I want to laugh at it. So Cody, who asked about the moose, said, thanks, I should probably replace the moose, but I love the soft feel for woods riding. My bead is partially unseated a couple times when riding this weekend, though, so I thought a second rim lock might help. Okay, so that's a very good way to tell that your moose is actually getting way too soft. And he's not talking about the bead like popping off the tire like Mike's did. Like Mike's bead popped off and you can look in and see the moose. He's talking about his bead popping inside the tire, like down in the dish, because the moose is what they do is as they wear, if they're not getting totally torn up, the moose actually shrinks, and so it allows, even though there's like still some pressure to it, it allows the bead of the tire to become unseated, and at that point bad things happen. What you will also find with the rim locks, and I should have mentioned this earlier, is when you put a rim lock in there, it also causes it's hard on the moose right where the rim lock is, more so at high speed riding. So if you're just doing woods riding, you can probably get away with adding a second rim lock and getting a little bit more life out of it. But you'd almost have to pick the spot where the rim lock goes to match it up with where the moose is, because they wear in different spots and stuff. But yeah, time for a new one. But a couple other things with mooses we can talk about. Nitro Moose actually now sells and makes things called wedges, and it's just a section of moose, and you basically take your moose. And you should do it before it starts getting too soft, because it'll help. But you cut out a section of moose and stuff this in there, and it actually fills up the tire again. I haven't played with these yet. I was wondering if you put it in there, if it'll feel like a hard section going around. Like there's one section that has more pressure than the rest. But I imagine it would kind of work its way out. And then, but I've done that with old mooses. I've cut them. I've seen people that have sliced inner tubes open, wrapped inner tubes around their older moose, added some life to it that way. I know some people that do that just always. That's their technique for having, tightening up the moose inside of a tire, even new ones when they're running big tires and they can't get the right size mooses. So, yeah, so Mark Daniels actually replied to Cody and said, yeah, break it down, add a small piece of bib to take up some of the loose space. Frankenmoose is what Chris Reel called it, which means it's dangerous. He probably liked that little he probably wasn't listening very well when I talked about, how I run broken bead tires, as he probably would have. Chris, you should have advised against that. You should say, don't listen to Jimmy at this point. Do you have any other questions, Logan, for me? No. Do we have any other questions that have come up in the room that I've managed to miss?
Not that
Todd Kelly says the Kenda Washougal, and I think he's talking about the wide tire.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that might be a tire for our friend Travis Redfield, who I think watches us on the YouTubes. So yeah, I think we're gonna call it a short show. We're not gonna go that extra half an hour. It makes it load like 4 minutes quicker when you put it up on the YouTubes.
Yeah.
So, and don't stay up until 2:00 to wait for those comments to come in, because it's bad for you. I'm gonna have to report. What's her name again?
Mary. No.
Yeah, Isla and Thaela. When you get those weird names, you know it's bad, especially when at 2:00 in the morning. So okay, hey, thanks for supporting the show. Thanks for supporting our sponsors. I'm going to, since I made a joke with you, I'm going to read it. Powered by a distinct ready-to-race mentality, KTM is the world's leading high-performance street and off-road sport motorcycle manufacturer, with North American headquarters based in Murrieta, California. Over the years, KTM has built a reputation as a fierce competitor on racetracks around the world, and the brand's remarkable global success is reflected in every product it develops and every move it makes. Also, thanks to Climb, thanks to Recluse, thanks to Taco Moto, thanks to DDC. They're all kind of helping us out in some way, shape, or form. There's a lot of cool stuff going on at Dirt Bike Test, and now that I'm done rally training with some of the best guys in the world, I'm gonna go try to put my head back into this product testing stuff. Right, Logan?
Yep.
Okay. You know what your homework assignment is? Your homework assignment is to take that message, that KTM message, and rewrite it. So it's different. So, because everybody's sick of hearing that.
Okay.
Right? They say it takes up like 20 seconds of their life that they're never going to get back. It's advertising, man. That's what it is. So your job next week, you're coming in with one that's better, and you get to read it, and then I'm going to ask them if it's okay after you read it, of course.
Okay.
And then when we get canned from KTM, then we'll just we'll go down to the next road. But anyways, yeah. Hey, thanks for everybody for helping us out, and I think with that we're going to say cheers, and we'll see you out on the trail.